So have you ever wondered what we are actually truly distracted from? Because I was looking at the Sun newspaper the other day, you know, as you do, and as my dad does almost religiously on a daily basis. In fact, I once pitched the idea that he doesn't buy the Sun newspaper, and he just looked at me in an incredibly confused way. But here we go. Here is the Sun headlines for today. It says, "Games begin. Commonwealth Games 2026 opening ceremony. What time is event on?" What? That doesn't make any sense. "What time is event on today and how to watch on terrestrial TV?" Okay, well, that's some bad language. But basically, here we go again, right? We've just finished the World Cup and it's only just been a few days and then boom, the Commonwealth Games are here. And then lo and behold, after that, it's going to be the Premier League. The football's going to start again. So it's just this constant bread and circuses, really. And it's no different to what we saw way back when, you know, in the Roman Empire with, you know, the Colosseum. We saw gladiatorial contests. We saw animal hunts. We saw even public executions and the rather sort of dramatization of these executions, which is incredibly, I guess, stimulating for the people watching it. It's very much the same as the same that people are taking today in terms of the constant entertainment, constant stimulation. Like I just made a video about Brave New World. Do check it out if you get a time. I'm trying to take or make rather these stories at the moment because we're obviously trying to generate a bit of a momentum here for New Earth, because what are we distracted from? We're distracting from our quest for freedom, and we're also distracted from the fact that we don't even really become aware that we are enslaved. We are living in a slave system. We are rent slaves, okay? So how it's all working out is that these people are born into privileged positions and therefore they buy land, they then build our homes and they charge us a premium for it. And it's increasingly so, isn't it? Like thousands and thousands of pounds that we spend, you know, throughout the year. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. The rent is outrageous. Everyone knows it. There's a cost of living crisis. And why sweep that aside when we can deal with it and kind of confront all of these problems face on effortlessly today with the digital communication technologies we've got? The fact that I'm talking to you right now is rather miraculous. Even just sort of 20, 30 years ago is, you know, sort of unforeseen, really. And so why don't we use these technologies to see and find out what we are actually distracted from? Because not only is it our freedom, it's actually ourselves. We're distracted from expanding our consciousness and becoming one with the universe itself, which sounds incredibly spiritual and philosophical, but it is actually the case. And it's a fascinating reality beyond this matrix that we're all inhabiting. So what I'd like people to sort of engage in is this highly plausible solution, which is that instead of these rich millionaires who are going around building our homes, these property developers and landlords, why don't we collectively co-create an alternative, which is that instead of one person with millions of pounds doing that, which is always going to be an operation of profit, instead the psychological shift is that millions of people with £1 creates homes, but in a completely different mindset. Because then it's up to us. It's a truly democratic process, right? It's like, how much do we want to actually pay? Okay, so this is how it should already be operating, you know? This is really where our tax should be going. Like, what are the fundamental foundations of existence? Shelter, energy, food, and water. If those things aren't being returned to us from our tax, then what on earth is it? Where is it going, you know? Apart from all the people that they're using to arm and blow civilizations apart, you know? The insanity that's been going on is because we allow it to, again, because we're distracted. We're constantly distracted. And it needs to stop, you know? Of course that's going to continue. So what I'm saying is, let's do a parallel system. There isn't a parallel society. It's just simply a parallel way of creating homes, and that will actually allow us more time and freedom for us to expand in consciousness, because as I always say, it's the consciousness that needs to expand first and foremost. And once we are in a condition, it's almost like this paradox where we need heightened consciousness to experience freedom, but we need the freedom to experience heightened consciousness. But of course we have to sort of start where we're at, and that is where we are, you know. And what I'm saying is we all want freedom, so why don't we all come together and create more of that?